It's Cow Week, everybody. Let's get this thing crunk up.
Gente, ela parece uma mola. Pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Parararam, pam, parararam, pam. Let's go. Let's go.
We on a bear hunt. Let's go.
Let's go. Gente, ela parece.
There's a bear behind me?
There's a bear behind you.
How big is it?
Super big.
Is it Kevin Hart big or The Rock big?
Way bigger than the rock big.
What should I do?
Just cry, man.
Call
Cry?
for your mom.
Call my mama?
Run.
Run? Nah, I don't think so. I ain't scared of no bear. Not even a cow golden bear. You know why? I got these guys. That's right, everybody. The stormtroopers on deck today,
Gente,
baby.
ela parece uma
Now bring
mola.
back my theme music.
Pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam. Let's go. Pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam, parararam, pam. Let's go.
How you doing, Auburn Addicts? Today I'm gonna give you all the information you need for a successful bear hunt. Who are we playing? The Cal Golden Bears. Where are we playing? Berkeley, California. When? Saturday, September the 9th. The time, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. You're gonna have to put your PJs on for this one. Where are we playing? ESPN. What's the weather like? The low is 56 degrees, the high 75 degrees. How much is a plane ticket? $497 for a one-stop flight to Auburn, California. What about getting you to Memorial Stadium from the airport? $30 to $40 on Uber. What about a hotel stay? $384 per night. What about tickets? $39 for the upper bowl because they don't have a deck. The lower 50-yard line, $343. End zone, $47. Now you probably won't be getting deals like that in SEC country for a marquee game. What are the odds? Auburn minus 6.5. The over under 54 points. And who's the head coach? Mr. Justin Wilcox. Now that I've successfully gotten you started on your bear hunt, you might want to stick around because we got Coach Hugh Freeze coming up next. Check it out. Coach, can we start with the injury report or the availability report that you give every week? And please tell me Jalen McLeod's going to play this week, man. I need to see this man sack somebody.
You know, we've got the availability of a lot of players is up in the air. So like normally I'd rather not even comment on all of them. I mean, we got a long list from Nick Mardner to Austin Keys to Jalen to Pritchett to all of those guys are just kind of hopefully can have a good week, and we could really use some of those guys.
Now, Coach, you gave some good life advice last week. I know you got something up your sleeve this week, so give all the Auburn addicts some good life advice. Give us some good life advice, Coach.
Yeah, I'll get frustrated. I don't lie, and I tell them that. Look, but here's the deal. I'll play the next play with you now. My love for them doesn't change. Their performance has nothing to do with how. I learned this from my father, who's a tough man, but I went through a very difficult stretch, and my father taught me, listen, I love you, and it's not based on your performance. And so as long as our players know that I think I can coach them hard, and they see that, and they see a consistency, and hey, he don't treat me indifferent. You know, after the game, whether I threw the 4 touchdowns or 3 picks, yeah, I'm disappointed. Yeah, I feel like I ought to coach you better, and I felt like you ought to played better, but that doesn't affect And I think Peyton knows that. And there were two things that happened in that same series, and he knew it. And I think when he missed the first one, and I'm yelling and screaming, which I probably need to. I'm figuring out who they are, and they're figuring out who I am. I think when I do that to him, he presses a little bit, and he handed the ball off, and the safety triggered so hard, and the safety made the hit like 1 yard in the backfield. So how do you not see that? And that ball should be thrown. And so I'm doing with my antics over there, and he probably sees that. And then about 2 plays later, the darn safety stays as high as he can, and we pull it and throw it. And those are the two things that can't happen. And he's too intelligent, has too much of an IQ, and he'll get that cleaned up and fixed. And I've got to make sure I coach him in a way that is helpful and not and doesn't make him press.
Coach, it seems the defensive line is struggling a little bit. Maybe it's scheme or maybe it's personnel. What's going on with the defensive line? It seems like they're stuck on blocks at times.
Again, we have our alignment issues, which truthfully, that's not on them because that communication comes from the back. We still just don't get off blocks. Great. And we just got to try to keep improving that. I thought they played hard and thought they, most of the time were assignment sound in the right gap, but man, we got to play with our hands and rip off blocks, and we still don't do that quite well enough for me.
Now, Coach, the streets is saying y'all had a come to Jesus meeting in that coach's meeting the other day, Coach. Now, Coach, honestly and tell the truth. What happened in that meeting? What was said? And I don't want to be a snitch, but you can address the streets because the street's sitting right over there.
Our coaches meeting, truthfully, yesterday wasn't real pleasant. And it wasn't demeaning but it was, guys, here's the facts. This is reality. This is who we are right now. And thank God we get to celebrate being 1-0 and 1 in Jordan-Hare, and we won't take that lightly, and that's awesome. However, this is what I see. And if that continues, we won't be celebrating a whole lot. I've said, I don't know how great we can be this year. I don't. But we ought to be able to line up right and play hard. And that's what we've got to get fixed. I thought our kids played hard. And I thought it was a clean game. And I thought, but you can't line up wrong 15 times.
Well, Coach, thank you for this interview, Coach. And I know you got to do some bear hunting, so we're going to let you go, Coach, and we're going to get on with the show. Thank you, Coach.
Let's talk about the Cal Golden Bears. All right, the Cal Golden Bears are from Cal Berkeley on the West Coast. The coach of the Cal Golden Bears is none other than Justin Wilcox. You guys might remember him. He had a former stint in the SEC for the Tennessee Volunteers. He also coached USC. He also coached Washington. He also coached Wisconsin, all as defensive coordinators. His scheme is more bend, no break. He's going to make you work for everything you get. He's not going to give up the big play. Coach Hugh Freeze had a little to say about Coach Wilcox's defenses. Let's hope our offense can move the ball down the field methodically and not make a lot of mistakes, and also take the big play when it comes, because they might be hard to come by to get big plays. Like you saw in the game last Saturday, we had big plays that we missed, wide open receivers. So hopefully we get that down pat, get communication right. So when the big plays are there, we strike, we make it happen, and we don't miss on those type of things. Let's talk offense and the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator is none other than Jake Spavital. You might remember him. He was at Texas A&M with Kevin Sumlin. You might remember his quarterbacks: Johnny Manziel, Kyler Murray, just to name a few.
Go fast. They got about 100 plays in the game and had 8 receivers with 2 or more catches. And, so the starting quarterback went out. The other kid came in and still threw for all these yards. So they've got depth, and I think the tailback is really, really special.
So you know Coach Spavital's offense centers around spreading you out, running the RPO, running a fast tempo, and running the zone read. His offenses are definitely explosive. Last week, they almost put up 700 yards of total offense. And you know who they put that up on? Jair Shorter's old team and Nixon's old team. As far as their offense against our defense, I say what we'll have to do is just play contained. We can't let them get open in the run game. Coach Freeze has already stated, if we don't get off blocks, if we don't get aligned correctly, we're going to get gashed in the run game Saturday. Now let's talk the Cal Golden Bears QB. That's none other than Sam Jackson V. Sam Jackson reminds me of Robbie Ashford. He's quick, he's fast, he's more of a zone read quarterback, but needs to work on his accuracy a bit. Last week was his first start as a collegiate quarterback. He's formerly of TCU. He also got hurt in the game against North Texas. He say he's ready to go, but we'll see on Saturday if he gets to play or if they play the backup that finished the game last week at North Texas. Now, next player I want to get to is Mr. Jaden Ott, the running back for the Cal Golden Bears. According to Mr. Ott, he's not very impressed with an SEC Auburn, according to what he's seen on film. It's nothing wrong with being confident. You should be confident in your ability and confident in yourself. But you also have to realize that, hey, I'm playing North Texas. Auburn played UMass. So I might have to reconsider my thoughts on saying if they're unimpressive or not based on what I did against North Texas. Hopefully that's what you're basing it on and not basing it on what you think you're going to do against Auburn. Because this is a totally different opponent, man. These defensive linemen are bigger. These defensive players are faster, stronger. So you might want to reconsider that. But check out the comments Mr. Ott said.
I think there's a lot of focus on the name, Auburn. And, you know, what I see on film is just like, you know, not really in comparison to what their name is. So I just want to get that into my guys' heads. Like, you know, a name doesn't mean anything. And at the end of the day, they're still human. And we have just as much of a chance as they do to go in there and get the win.
See, Cal played North Texas last week. Auburn played UMass. It's only so many things you can take away from that. You got to understand Auburn didn't show everything on their defense last week. Just like Hugh Freeze said for the offensive side of the ball. He dialed it back. So you might want to be measured in your confidence against Auburn, Mr. Ott. There's nothing wrong with being confident. I like a confident person. But sometimes you can get overconfident because of the level of competition you play. You got to remember you played North Texas. Speaking of offense, let's talk about the offensive line coach. This is going to be a little interesting. Check this out. Cal's offensive line coach and run game coordinator is formerly of North Texas. He is the former offensive coordinator of none other than Jair Shorter. Also, he is the former offensive line coach of one Philip Montgomery. Isn't that interesting? So that'll be an interesting chess match because this guy was the offensive coordinator under Philip Montgomery. So he kind of knows his moves. He knows his offense. And also Philip taught him. So it should be an interesting chess game within the game because he learned under Philip Montgomery. He was his offensive coordinator. So he knows Philip's tendencies. And also Philip knows his tendencies. So it should be interesting, especially with Jair Shorter being on the team. He knows his tendencies also. So the chess match will be real interesting. Let's talk a little about the defensive coordinator and we'll wrap this thing up. The defensive coordinator is Peter Sermons, which he spent a little time in the NFL with the Tennessee Titans. A fun fact on defense is he spent time as Mississippi State's defensive coordinator. So he's familiar with the SEC. So he knows what to expect when Auburn comes to town. Now check out this other statement Coach Freeze had to say about Cal.
This is not like last week. We can see everything, you know, but his kids are going to be in the right spot. They're going to be lined up correctly. They're going to play hard. They're going to tackle well. And you're going to have to drive the field and multiple times and and they're going to try not to give you explosive plays, and we've got to try to find a way to find a way to have some. But they're going to be in the right spot. They're just extremely well coached for what they do. It's not a complicated scheme, but they do what they do really, really well.
I hear you, Coach, but I'm gonna have to stick with my prediction. We're gonna mop the floor with Cal. Now, this is what Drell had to say. He's an Alabama fan. He was on a previous show. You can check that out. He came on the UMass pregame show, and he talked about how he thought we was gonna lose to Cal. So check Drell out.
It might not be because it might not be because y'all that they're a really good team. I just think the outside factors, the crowd, and it's late night. It's not the norm. And I think that might be like a game that y'all bounce back from. Y'all fix a bunch of stuff. That's where when you said 8 or 9 wins. That's why I was like 7, 8.
Jesus, you got us losing. You got us losing the Cal, man. God,
and also, let me not let you forget about Nick from the Coolest Water Cooler podcast who came on, and he said we would struggle with Cal. I hear you guys. We got Coach Freeze po-mouthing. We got Nick saying we're gonna struggle. We got Drell saying we're gonna lose. Am I the only one that has faith in Auburn? I hope not. Hopefully our Tigers can go out and have a good showing and not embarrass the SEC. Florida, South Carolina, LSU. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously, no, I'm not. Y'all did embarrass the SEC. Y'all put your PJs on and get ready for the game because we're going to all be in the bed when this one starts. Hopefully, we can come out with the dub, as Mr. Ott says. Y'all tune in this week because we're going to have Nick on. We're going to talk about those predictions both he and I made about this Cal game. So y'all tune in so y'all can see the repercussions of our picks. Y'all remember to put us in the rotation. Stop by and check us out from time to time. Now clench your fists and hold it up high and say, War Eagle.